Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Nightmare Mode run. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're playing the Creature, which is a really interesting one because I think that this is one of the strongest characters in the game, thanks to the incredible amounts of damage and economy that you get. But I have seen many people say that it's especially difficult on Nightmare Mode, thanks to losing a lot of range and the curse going on the new upgraded enemies, the enhanced enemies that were added recently, can be extraordinarily dangerous because it multiplies their already increased stats. So we're going to jump in and play the Creature here. I'm going to take this seriously. We're going to try to win, so we're going to use a really fast-firing weapon, in this case submachine guns, because with the Creature you get the additional curse damage scaling on all of your weapons, so a weapon that fires really fast gets to use that damage the most. I'm also playing with several disadvantages tonight. One is that my cat's in here and he's decided he wants to be maximally annoying, so you might hear him randomly just yelling throughout the recording, so apologies for that. And second is that I'm recording very late at night. I'm very tired and have been doing taxes all day, which, as you know, is a massive disadvantage in pretty much anything that you try to accomplish. Let's re-roll here. I'm looking for harvesting, and I'll roll again. I missed twice, but I'll take my 5% attack speed. When you're using submachine guns, there is an animation glitch where the first point of attack speed overcomes a sort of animation breakpoint on submachine guns, and results in like a 20% damage increase instead of a 1% DPS increase, like you would expect from 1% attack speed. So it's very important to get the first point of attack speed when you're using SMGs. Here, I'm going to go ahead and just ban these. I could take the extra pickup radius, but it's not going to be, I think, particularly important, and I'm looking to put in more powerful items. We'll take another submachine gun. Fresh meat I'll leave in the pool, because with SMGs, of course, lifesteal is going to be our healing of choice, and then we'll roll and lock SMG here. Mutation, I'm just going to go ahead and ban. You don't really want to buy ranged damage when you're playing the Creature. You just get tons of flat damage for free because you're building Curse. And Mutation is one of the worst ways to build ranged damage. So we're going to just go ahead and ban that because there's just more powerful things we can find. It's not in the bottom items that we could find, but it's not in the top half, and when you're banning items early on, you should be just trying to improve the average roll. So banning anything that's worse than most items that you find is always going to be a net positive. Also, as you can see here, they've made another addition to Nightmare Mode with this new projectile pattern. So the previous ones only went in a straight line. These go in these diagonals, and this is much more difficult. So that could be a significant challenge, especially with the short range from the Creature. Also, if you're wondering, I've decided... Oh, yeah, and good job, Fishhook, cursing nothing. If you're wondering, I've decided to leave projectiles on in every round. I think it's just going to be more fun to have the projectiles appear in every round, because it'll make it more difficult. Alright, we rolled into a level 1 SMG. That's why I re-rolled here. When you roll a level 2, the weapons, of course, are only exclusive if it's the exact same one of the same level, so we could still roll another submachine gun, and we did. We have gotten pretty lucky with our rolls in terms of the weapons that we're finding. So that's definitely been a nice bonus. It's gotten us to 7 total weapon levels at the end of Wave 2, which is definitely over the average that you would expect at this point, so we're doing very well there. And hopefully, with a 21% pity bonus, at least one thing gets cursed. As the Creature, you want to buy as much curse as possible. Use your Fishhook to generate a massive amount of curse, because that'll increase your damage. We're going to take more harvesting here, and then I will re-roll, and 8 harvesting, another incredible gift. So the game is really handing us some victories here. I'm always going to buy the cursed items first when I'm playing the Creature, because we just want as much curse as we can get. It increases our damage, and curse scales really well with itself. The danger of curse is that it makes enemies more dangerous, but when you have enough of it, you start getting extra cursed items, which more than overcome the challenge of the additionally dangerous enemies, so it's really important to just get as much curse as possible. Here, I'm pretty much gonna just lock anything even remotely purchasable when we're using fishhooks at this point, because the value of getting an item cursed is so high, so we want to maximize our chances of doing that. And I probably won't buy... we'll end up locking a lot of items and then not buying them if they don't get cursed, because the goal is just to get as many chances to use the fishhook as possible. You can see here we're doing great damage because we've already built up a significant amount of curse, and every bullet from the SMG benefits from that. Also, of course, we want to kill the curse aliens. Yeah, they've really made the attack patterns way harder on the projectiles here, so that's definitely something to keep in mind. I'm going to roll here. I would like to get to 21 harvesting, so I'll roll twice looking for harvesting. I missed twice. Let me just take 8% damage. My percent damage is already okay, but when you're multiplying such a high base number, because again, we get 35% of our curse as bonus damage, every bit of percent damage matters a lot. We'll pick up the submachine gun here, and Ugly Tooth, I think I'm going to pass on. Beanie, I'll still buy. Hedgehog, we'll skip. So, actually, what I could do is just buy the Ugly Tooth, even though it's not cursed, because it's still an okay item. And then I'll ban Hedgehog, even though, again, it provides ranged damage. This way we get to reroll for free, making it more likely that we can lock more good items for our fishhook. I will ban Dynamite. We're not going to use that, or Goat Skull, so we can just throw in those bans, and then we'll do a reroll. And here, I will lock Penguin and Feather. And this might look weird after we banned ranged items, but again, we just want to have as many things locked as possible in the last shop here to maximize the chance of our fishhook giving us cursed items. I could reroll for 5 here. It's probably worth it, and wow, good item to reroll into, because again, locking things is just really good for us. We get a break from the projectiles, because this is a darkness wave. Pick up another point of curse. I definitely need some lifesteal and a little bit of armor. Of course, we're going to start facing the more dangerous enemies later on. Also, on the creature, you can buy range. You don't really need to heavily invest in range, but range is a little more interesting on Nightmare mode, because enemies do more damage, so staying further away from them can be more valuable. It's more important if you're playing, like, the Wounded than if you're playing this guy, but with the creature, it's still an okay option. Here I am just going to take 2 ranged damage. It's +1 damage on all my weapons, and it's a level 2 upgrade, so it saves me from having to reroll, and then we'll pick up 9 HP. Alright, we did not, again, get amazing luck with our fishhook, but we're still happy to buy another cursed weapon. Obviously, we want to get all our weapons cursed as quickly as possible. Here, what I'm going to do is I will pass on the Feather and the Penguin. We don't actually really want these. We were just locking them because they were purchasable items that we could buy and gain curse from. Metal is still worth buying, and then I'm going to reroll. We'll lock a submachine gun. I'll buy a Weird Ghost. We do want increased health, and even with no healing on wave 6, I think we're fine for the Weird Ghost, and then we'll, again, try to just have 4 things locked. Even Alien Worm, although normally you don't want to decrease your consumable healing, just getting it cursed is, again, really, really valuable. So with 0 lifesteal currently, I do have to be a little careful this wave, especially because it is a wave with pufferfish, so the Weird Ghost is putting me in a little more danger. And because I don't have any consumable healing, I do, again, need to be a bonus consumable healing, that is. And we haven't really gotten that lucky dropping consumables. I am 1 hit from death, so I just need to be careful not to actually walk into some enemy attacks right now. But it's worth it for the bonus HP. And nice, we got the kill there on the loot alien. Boiling water, I'm going to recycle. I'm going to save my last ban for a free reroll. And we'll take 2 armor. That's perfect. Okay, great. We got a bunch of cursed stuff. So let's go ahead and buy this. I'm just going to buy this submachine gun and upgrade our cursed one. Getting the cursed weapons leveled, of course, is really good. And then we'll roll again. Lock Corrupted Shard. That's perfect. don't really need any of these other items. Some of them would be fine cursed. Like, we could buy crit chance on the claw tree. But I think I am just going to reroll this, and then I will lock this set of items. This I'm happy with any of those that do happen to get cursed. Our stats are actually really good at the moment. Normally on SMG, you're rolling very heavily for flat range damage, but the creature doesn't have to do that. So for us, what we really need at this point is just some lifesteal. If we don't find any, I may roll on level 10 and spend our guaranteed level 3 level up on 3% lifesteal, because that will just give me a significant amount of additional healing. One issue that you do actually have with creature with submachine guns is that you hit too hard to be as good at lifestealing as SMGs normally are. Normally this weapon does a lot of really low damage attacks, which in Brotato is really good for lifestealing, but with the creature, your attacks just hit so hard you kill things before you can heal back up. We'll take 8% more damage, and then, great, we got 2 more cursed items, so we'll pick up Corrupted Shard, Weird Ghost, Leather Vest, and I will take the glasses. We get a free reroll here, and offsetting our range penalty is fine. Another Leather Vest is awesome. Getting 2 of these early is also really good because it gets me to 12% dodge, but let's take the Whistle, lock Leather Vest. I will buy the Broken Mouth because I care less about that getting cursed, and we'll lock Small Fish here. And I've only locked 2 items. Maybe I should have bought the Small Fish and then locked the Broken Mouth so I could have rerolled and tried to lock more items for the hook. Yeah, that probably was a little better, but this is fine. I did it the way that I did it because I was thinking I would rather have the Small Fish cursed because the stats on it matter more, and it decreases a penalty as well as increasing a bonus, which is pretty relevant. But I'm still pretty happy with where we're at, and I think maybe a more important factor would have been the ability to reroll and potentially lock more items. Alright, we should have the damage to clear these lampreys, even if they spawn cursed before we take too much. I did take 1 hit there, but that's why we've been building armor. I do have to remember my consumable heal is low. Okay, we got a loot alien spawn. It is hard paying attention to the new, more dangerous pattern of the wave projectiles, especially because I did leave the setting on that turns them on every wave. That's not the default difficulty. By default, it's only on some waves. I'm going to recycle Cute Monkey. Although we aren't heavily prioritizing increasing our range damage, I don't think it's worth decreasing it either. Piercing shots on SMGs is really powerful, so Sharp Bullet we're always happy with. You would love to get Sharp Bullet cursed. We also, even with 33 curse, haven't found a single naturally cursed item yet, I think. It's just been the fish hook that's been doing it. I'll just take 3 armor here. We have 4% lifesteal now, so we're okay in terms of healing. Obviously, we want more, but that's enough to kind of get us out of the early game. And increasing our armor so we don't die to a random enhanced projectile hit or enhanced enemy hit is going to be really important. I'm going to buy all of these items and ban Charcoal. And then I'll do a reroll. I'll buy Corrupted Shard. I'll upgrade my Cursed SMG. And then I will roll again and roll again. And then here I can lock Alien Worm. That's fine. We just want to buy every cursed item. We'll lock Feather as well. We'll actually now buy this even if it doesn't get cursed, because increasing our dodge is now relevant. We're probably building dodge. I don't have any elemental damage, so I'll pass on Ice Cube, and my max HP is actually fine. So I'm going to pass on the Jelly as well and reroll. Lock a Peacock. Defective Steroids I don't love, obviously. It's not an incredible item, but every point of curse matters so heavily on this character. If you buy, if you can lock pretty much anything purchasable, you should. Yeah, these, the zigzagging projectiles are much harder to deal with as well. And especially because they have a curved trajectory. It's not just a straight up zigzag. So it's a little harder for the human eye to track things that are moving on a curve than in a straight line. But we do also have a lot of cursed enemies, which is just worth a lot of extra money since cursed enemies drop more materials. So even if we aren't getting that lucky in terms of cursed item rolls, we are still just getting extra money, which makes up for the penalty that the economic penalties you have on this difficulty setting. Take the helmet. I could take 9 movement speed. More movement speed is pretty good. I think I will. Going up to 11 is going to be helpful. Okay, the fishhook, it needs to start doing something. We're getting kind of ruined by this fishhook right now. But I will take an alien worm. I'll take the feather like I talked about. 1 ranged damage is still relevant, even though we do get a bunch of base damage. And the dodge is extremely powerful. We'll take the peacock as well. And defective steroids, when it's not cursed, we're definitely not buying. Here, I will upgrade my SMG to level 4, because we get a cursed level 4 upgrade. Goldfish, I'm going to buy this, and then we can reroll and maybe lock a bunch of level 4 items, or a bunch of higher level items. It would be really nice if we could curse some higher level items, because not only are they really powerful, they also give you more curse. Yeah, we'll definitely take a Cursed Garden, so that's a naturally cursed item appearing. Railgun is kind of fun, and we are building dodge, but with this character, you just want weapons that attack rapidly. I will buy, of course, a minigun or a Gatling laser type weapon if we happen to see one of those. What we're really hoping for is a second fishhook. That's the item that we want the most on this character, pretty much always. So I need to kill these lampreys, and then I can focus damage on the curse aliens in order to increase them. Or in order to increase our damage, and also, of course, our chance of getting cursed items. Like I said, I've been in the mines today, so I apologize if I misspeak. Yeah, I'll take 2% more lifesteal. I definitely need some more of that. Here, I'm going to reroll. I feel like we can get a higher level upgrade. I would take a 45 range upgrade, but probably not a 30. And I'll just take 2 ranged damage here. Just making sure that our damage stays high is good. And we can keep building dodge. Going up to 21 dodge is going to help a lot as well. The potato getting cursed is awesome. So great job by our fishhook there. Obviously, these are all stats that we really want. And getting all of them at once in very high amounts is great. Glass cannon, I'll leave that locked. Do I want to buy a cursed shotgun? So this is, of course, not the weapon that we're really looking for, and it's level 1, but we haven't found a lot of cursed SMGs, so just buying the cursed shotgun, I think, is going to make it a little easier for us to increase our curse significantly. I'll lock another one, because I can switch to more cursed weapons if we happen to get that one cursed, and then cape we'll definitely buy. Normally, it would be a little harder to justify losing 2 ranged damage on a character, though you still probably would, because the lifesteal is really good. But for the creature, our weapon base damage is so high, losing 2 ranged damage is a drop in the bucket. I like a drop in the bucket as an idiom, because it's very plain in its meaning. I always appreciate good idioms, so for those of you who speak languages that aren't English, tell me some of your favorite idioms from your languages. I always want to learn some new ones. One of my favorite is where an English speaker will say, if you want to have 2 mutually exclusive good things, you might say you want to have your cake and eat it too, which doesn't make any sense because that's what cakes are for. But a Czech speaker will say you want a full wolf and a whole sheep, which makes way more sense to me. I'm going to take the cape here and go to 50% dodge. glass cannon, I guess I will leave locked. The level 4 shotgun, I'll try to curse. I think we can roll past the level 2 now, though. And small fish, I'll buy a second one, because we just want as much damage as possible. Sunken bell, I'm going to lock as well, and I'm going to roll again for 20 here. Would I take a cursed harpoon gun? I think not. So, unfortunately, we only get to lock 3 items. Shotgun is made a little worse by our sharp bullet as well, because it has inherent piercing, so normally you would never want to buy sharp bullet to go with a shotgun, but just getting more cursed weapons makes our damage output so much higher, so I'm always going to be interested in that, especially as we get to, like, this wave, where this cursed enhanced Hatcher is so difficult to kill. You saw, I mean, you know how much damage we have, and you saw how long it took us to kill that thing. Here, I probably just take 8% more damage, just increasing our percentage damage is, of course, still very relevant. I'm gonna unlock the glass cannon at this point, because I want to roll to other items, and losing armor is still not good. We have never gotten it cursed, so we're gonna move on to greener pastures. I will upgrade our cursed shotgun, and at this point I will buy a lens. We'll keep buying a corrupted shard. I'll lock the penguin, because, again, just anything that we can get cursed is good. And we'll lock a loot worm. Sadly, I rolled 2 more weapons, so I'm only getting to lock 2 things this wave. Currently our damage output is high enough that the darkness wave isn't frightening at all, and I believe wave 13 does not have the enhanced enemies on it. Although maybe I'm just killing them so fast that I don't see them show up. We do get this curse alien kill, which is nice. They've also, in the most recent, like, mini patch, the most recent update to the beta, they've made some of the enhanced enemies more dangerous. I'm gonna recycle Incendiary Turret. We don't really need it. I'm gonna also, I think at this point... No, I'll just take the Weird Ghost. We have 13 lifesteal, so we should be able to heal up pretty quickly. We'll take the Penguin here. I'll buy Loot Worm, even though it didn't get cursed. We'll take the Bat. Chameleon, it's actually worth considering buying Chameleon here. Once you're at 50% dodge, the last few points of dodge are incredibly efficient, so even at an incredibly poor rate, buying Chameleon is still okay, but I think there's probably more important stuff for us to go for. I'll definitely take a Lemonade. I need to fix my consumable healing even still. Plastic Explosive and Cute Monkey I'll pass on, but Saltwater, let's just buy that. It pulls a unique item out of the pool, which is pretty nice. Particle Accelerator, that's an item or a weapon I would take. It's obviously not fast firing, so it's not normally going to be amazing for the creature, but it's just such a fun weapon that I kind of want to use it anyways. Although we don't have a good way to actually buy it because of our weapons not being able to combine, so I think that does unfortunately change the calculus. If I buy Corrupted Shard, I can't reroll, so I would just be locking Treasure Map here. So I have a couple options. I can lock Particle Accelerator, buy Corrupted Shard, then we've got 2 things locked. I can lock Corrupted Shard and reroll, and then we might be able to lock more powerful items. I think that's better overall. Normally, you should pretty much always just buy an item rather than try to lock it for Fishhook, but on the creature the calculus does change a little bit, because cursed items are so incredibly valuable to you. Alright, I wasn't paying attention to this being another darkness wave when I bought the weird ghost, which I do think that darkness waves are slightly more dangerous for weird ghosts than projectile waves, just because if a dangerous enemy spawns very near you and you don't see it, it's easy to take one hit at the start of the wave and therefore die. Whereas the projectiles, you have a little bit of time to react to where they're coming from. Also, you can see we need the damage output because we've got the upgraded walruses, the upgraded goblin sharks, and these I think are like the most dangerous enemies in the game, basically. At this point, they have a huge amount of health, they move really fast, they do an enormous amount of damage, we've gotten a ton of them cursed. So this, I think, is why people were struggling a bit with the creature, at least some folks, because you just end up facing incredibly dangerous enemies. The Peacock going into wave 15, it's a Horde wave. I think we're safe on a Horde wave. I'll take it here. And then I'm going to take 8% damage. That's fine. We could take the coupon Bean Teacher as well. We're also just offsetting the XP gain penalties by buying these items. And then we can buy everything and do a reroll. I'll lock a Pearl. This is an amazing item to get cursed, even though we don't have any luck right now. If it does get cursed, you get a really good chance of getting more of them, and it makes buying luck super efficient when that happens. Sad Tomato, I think, is worth locking. A level 1 shotgun I'm not going to lock, though. Haven't found a single SMG in a million years. Either that or I've just rolled past them. SMG, I do think, is one of the weapons I'm less likely to just roll past, because it's so often what you're looking for that my brain will tend to at least notice it, I think, but it would be funny if I have just rolled past one. And if so, I'm sure you'll be able to see that in the comments. Alright, so I do need to be careful. The enhanced blobfish are going to spawn a lot of really dangerous enemies. And that can absorb a lot of my damage output. And you can see here, we're really glad that we have the level 4 shotgun, the cursed one, because we're just getting a little overwhelmed in terms of sheer quantity of enemy health. This is because I haven't really been able to upgrade my weapons. I am going to buy 4 more curse. Again, this increases our base damage, so you buy every cursed item you see on this character. I'll take 6 more dodge, going up to 55 dodge, and 2 more armor. And then here, I could start building crit chance. We do have shotguns now, and cursed weapons also have better critical multipliers. So you can see, like, the cursed submachine gun has a 1.7x compared to the normal SMG's 1.5. So it's a little better to build crit chance on the creature with SMGs than on a normal character. I think I will just take 3 ranged damage, though. I'm kind of struggling in terms of damage output, so I do want to fix that. Pearl didn't get cursed, so we're not going to buy it. We'll take a coupon and a Cyclops Worm, though, then we'll reroll. Okay, Hunting Trophy gave us a bunch of crit chance. That's great. I'll definitely take that. And you can't be the king of Brotato without a crown, so we'll buy that. Metal, I'm going to lock. Tractor, I'm going to lock. And these, I probably will buy the metal, even though we have Hunting Trophy, even if it doesn't get cursed. Tractor, I won't buy if it doesn't get cursed, but if it does, then it's still going to pay off really quickly, especially because we have the crown. Also, look at our character. We look really sad. This is the same face that my cat is making because I won't let him eat muffin wrappers out of the trash. You will notice that because of the creature's passive, where we lose range every wave, we have started decreasing our range pretty significantly at this point. It's still not enough that it matters, but it is noticeable at this point in the game, whereas, which is about when you expect it to start coming up. Before wave 16, the decreased range on this character just doesn't matter at all. Around this point is when it starts having some impact, though that impact is still so minimal that you shouldn't worry about it. We'll take 12% damage here. I don't really need more max HP. Pumpkin's going to be really good. We'll buy the metal. I'm going to pass on the tractor. And I guess we'll buy Triangle of Power and Pumpkin, and given that, I'll actually lock the Tractor again, because even for 2 waves, a Cursed Tractor would be good, just because of the curse. And then I'm going to roll here. I don't really want any of these items. I guess I'll lock the Gummy Berserker. We can give up 1 armor. We have 18. Celery Tea at this point isn't great. Pistol is just such a weak weapon, but I guess I'll lock it anyways, just because I would love to switch to a cursed weapon, even a bad one. And I do, of course, want to lock stuff for our fishhook. I do like, I think, the new projectile patterns a little more, though I'm not playing a character that particularly has to interact with them, because we don't have to dodge, we just kill everything. So, that may not be true. That might not hold true if I'm playing a more difficult character. The always in a straight line, extremely predictable patterns, I think, weren't great. Now, do these... If I just sit in the center of the map here, is this going to hit me? Yes, okay. So, it looks like... Because one of the reasons they changed the projectile patterns previously was because they made standstill builds really difficult. And it looks like they have gone back to that. I think they might still want like an island of safety available for standstill builds. Things like Streamer and Soldier that want to not move. Because I think that is something important to enable. Players really like doing those. Alright, we didn't get any of these cursed, so we're going to pass on all of them. Thunder Sword would be pretty interesting if the secondary projectiles actually benefited from curse. Even with no melee or elemental damage, those could still be a lot of damage if they benefited from your curse scaling. Sadly, they don't, so we can't really buy them on this character. Power Generator, it's amazing to get it cursed, but I'm just going to buy it here. Even that little bit of percentage damage matters a lot. And then I'm going to roll again. Do I want to try to curse a medical gun? I guess I do. I'll lock the medical gun here, especially because none of these other items are worth it. But even that's going to be... Is that even better than our SMG, a level 3 medical gun? I don't think so. Not for the creature. Even if it gets cursed, because the curse scaling and super fast attack speed on the submachine gun just make it wildly efficient on this character. So, I would love to find more weapons. We haven't managed to. Obviously, we're still just going to buy all the items that we get. And one thing about the creature is you will end up with fewer weapon levels, because you're just going to see fewer items over the course of a run than most characters, since you want to lock basically everything you see. That means fewer rerolls. We are using a ranged weapon, which is going to make these enhanced pufferfish more dangerous. With their double explosion, especially because this is one of the zigzag projectiles waves. Fortunately, I have a lot of armor, so I can just walk into all of these attacks and it's fine. Though, a cursed enhanced pufferfish probably still hits really hard. Especially if we do get one of the bugs that causes us to take a bunch of damage. Alright, so the incendiary turret that I didn't take, we did get offered fried rice, ice cube, or ice cube doesn't work with incendiary turret, but we got offered fried rice and Greek fire, so it kind of might have been nice to have it. Now, Greek fire I think is generally overrated. The amount of damage it actually does tends to be pretty low, even to the bosses, and I'm not unhappy just recycling it here. I could take 4% damage and 4 regen, because the speed is percent damage based on our power generator. I think I'm going to pass on the scarf, though. I think it's a little too risky. I will just buy any curse that we find, though. We'll take some more cursed items. We'll buy a leveled up SMG, finally. Jelly, we do have 2 different weapons, and I get a 20 material discount, and then more if I reroll again. So I'll buy the jelly. I'll upgrade my shotgun, buy Gentle Alien. Lumberjack shirt at this point, I'm just going to pass on it. It's an econ item, and we're going into wave 19, so we don't really need it. Let's keep re-rolling, and I'll lock a Tentacle, because some crit chance could be good, and we'll re-roll again. Lock a Submachine Gun, we finally found one. Lucky Charm, I certainly won't need in just wave 20, but the Cursed SMG we're very happy with. So we get to lock a bunch more stuff this wave. These enemies have a ton of health, but this character just does so much damage that we're still clearing them. But it is true that even on these really high damage characters, you're not going to be killing every enemy on these last few waves, which I think is kind of a nice change. It makes you have to actually pay attention to what you're doing, though it does decrease the sort of power fantasy of the end game. I'll take the lure just because 2 regen and 2, healing items dropping in the wave could be useful. Take some ranged damage to kill the bosses a little faster, and then I'm looking for a level 3 upgrade. Even with very low luck, it's not that unlikely that we find one, though here I'll just take an armor, again, just to make sure we don't get popped immediately. Alright, so what's the best way to do this to guarantee I get the most cursed weapons possible? I guess it's to go combine, and then we get a level 4 cursed at level 2 and level 1, because we want all of our weapons to be cursed, which means I don't want to combine cursed weapons together. I want to combine a non-cursed weapon into it so that we get the maximum number of weapon slots cursed, basically. Metal is still worth buying. The crit chance would have been nice, and I guess Claw Tree might be a little better than most other things we'll find, even though it's not, ideal for us. But we just want to kill the bosses as fast as possible, so I'm kind of just looking for things like that. I will just re-roll for fun here, because we can't afford anything. Here's the fried rice back again, and then let's go to wave 20 and see if we can take down the bosses quickly enough. There's the first one, and let's zigzag our way through the projectile storm and go after Whaley in here. And there we go. That is the creature on Nightmare mode. I like that they've changed it to FP to show that it's full projectiles. So you'll probably... I think I probably will end up playing with full projectiles on most characters, unless there's one where it really makes it, not fun or whatever. And hopefully they continue to iterate on the balance. I think that... I like the direction that they're going, but it does seem like there's still a couple more steps to make the projectiles really feel like a part of the game, especially if they want to make them optional and have it be optional to have them on every wave and stuff like that. Then it stops feeling as much of an intentional design to me. So I'd like to see them integrated a little more with the new enemies and everything like that, but for now we're just gonna err on the side of keeping the game as hard as possible in the basic settings anyways. Taking a look at our items here, obviously we ended with 150 curse, so our fishhook did okay. I would be curious to know how well it performed compared to the average that you would expect. We definitely missed a bunch of curse opportunities early, but we got some cursed weapons and we started getting cursed items. And then that snowballs into more and more cursed items over the course of the run. We had double gentle alien. We had very few economy items. We never found a bag. We found some coupons kind of later on. We did get 500 materials out of those. The goldfish actually worked very well because it let me roll into the potato and then curse the potato, which was an amazing boost to our character. Cape let us get to 60 dodge, which is great. Loot worm gave me 65 materials. Treasure map did very poorly. We had very low luck, so the treasure map actually wasn't going to be amazing most of the time, though it's still underperforming here. Hunting trophy for 73 materials. We bought this and never were really offered crit chance in an efficient way, but mostly I just got it for the 9 crit chance anyways, and we got kind of a discount on it. Crown wasn't efficient, but we didn't buy it for its efficiency. Laser turret dealt almost 10k damage. Cursed laser turret performing pretty well even with no engineering investment. That's kind of fun. And we got to heal 1 whole HP off the tentacle. Alright, my friends, hope that you've enjoyed this run, and of course, if you have, then feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.